You got
A roadman, I think it just kind of means like you're like kind of sketchy, but I'm not really sure. I took it as like, oh, this is tight. Like I want to be a roadman, but I don't know. I don't know if that's offensive. I apologize, but you know
We'll find out in the comments.
Yeah. Okay. All right. We were calling ourselves roadmen. Anyways.
Hi, I'm Erica, and today I'm joined with Young Gravy for the latest in NME's In Conversation series. How are you?
I'm good. Enemies in Conversation?
NME's In Conversation with Young Gravy.
Okay. Enemies in Conversation with Young Gravy.
So for the people watching that don't know you yet, we want to give them kind of a primer on your music. To start, just like what got you into rapping? What made you want to pick up the microphone?
I mean, since middle school, since I had access to listening to the radio, and I mean, I don't know, a couple years later when I had access to, you know, going on my family's computer and using LimeWire and all that, I've loved hip hop, and in particular, I loved hip hop and soul music and Motown, and I just felt like I could kind of bring those together. And that's like, I mean, that's not exactly what my style is. It's just those two, but that old sort of vintage style sampling is my go-to, and I think that's what people know me for. And yeah, I wanted to bring that. I was like, you know, this is missing. People need this. So sampling, but making it more sort of banger beats, where sampling's been in hip hop forever, but the trap hard 808s with the samples, kind of my thing. I mean, shout out to 3-6. I think they started that, but you know, I'm bringing it back.
Bringing back the bangers. So I was going to ask you to kind of follow up on that. You just give 3-6 Mafia a shout out. Are there any other artists that you can think of, not even just rappers, but just like across genres? You talked about Motown, like specific name drops you can give us on who you were listening to that you felt like really resonated and kind of pushed you to be a rapper?
I guess just, you know, personality, swag wise, all that. Dean Martin, legend. And I listen to a lot of that, like easy listening and 50s, like vocal pop. I love that stuff. Hip hop specifically, I really like Action Bronson. I always will bring up Outkast. Other Southern rappers too. I guess that's kind of what inspired me in the first place. And then, you know, when I was in high school, I had that whole like, my era, my phase was like stoner kid. I was like just a little I was a weed dealer. I was a weed dealer in my small town in Minnesota, and back then it was like Juicy J, Wiz Khalifa, Taylor Gang, Currency, Freddie Gibbs, all that music. So I don't know. The inspirations have changed a lot, but I think my favorite overall is Southern hip hop. Southern hip hop. You know, 3-6, Paul Wall, all that stuff.
Awesome. So speaking of time, a little further than the times that you were dealing weed in Minnesota, but just basically like first putting your music out there. I read that you had like an alias at the time, like you were going by Carlisle Vanucci II, so that people didn't know who you were. Why did you go by an alias?
So, okay, so basically when I started rapping, I had a job. I was in college and I had a job that was going to be dope. After school, and I didn't expect rap to take off, so I didn't show my face. I mean, I went by Young Gravy, but I didn't show my face for the first couple of years of rapping. And I had other aliases, which was like Mr. Butter, Little Steamer, which I realized, I thought that was tight. I was like, oh, it's like the smoking thing, but then people were like, they thought it had something to do with shit, so I got rid of that. Daddy Aioli. I've had a lot of aliases. Actually, Carlisle Vanucci was just like that's more recent. That was when I had to make a Zoom account and I didn't want people to know my real name. I just made Carlisle Vanucci. So there's been a lot. You know, you got Carlisle Vanucci, Buck Bagalini, Jimmy Continental, Clancy Brett. I've had plenty of aliases, but Gravy is, you know, in my heart, I'm Gravy.
Wow. So many good names you could have gone with though. But speaking of Young Gravy, what was it specifically that you're talking about, like that resonated with you in your heart, that made you feel like this is the stage name that I want to go with? Because you had a lot of options there.
Yeah. It's just my lyrical content, personality, everything just felt like, I don't know, it's all gravy. It's smooth. That's about it. It's all gravy.
It's all gravy. That's a good answer. Makes sense. So you mentioned having gone to college. I think you went to the University of Wisconsin for a marketing degree.
I was doing marketing and
Yeah.
finance, and then I dropped finance so I could graduate early because I got a tour booked.
Well, that's amazing.
Which
How
was
did that
tight.
even fall into place? Were you just like putting it out there, manifesting it actively? Like what happened?
Yeah, when I was like late sophomore year, early junior year of college was when I started rapping, and I mean I wasn't gonna start and then stop. It was like if I do this, I'm gonna go all out. If it doesn't work out, then at least I tried. But I was going ham. So shit really started to pop off when I was like beginning of my senior year. So I've been rapping for about a year and a half, maybe a little bit less. I was flying. I had to skip class. I was bringing like notes, like letters from big record labels to my professors and being like, I got to dip and go do these meetings. And then I was like, this is happening really quick. So I want to graduate to make my mom happy and make my dad proud. So I said, fuck it, I'm just going to drop finance and graduate early. And everything was in place. I announced that, I think I announced that tour when I still had like a whole semester left, but it sold out in a week. And I was like, all right, well, I have to fucking drop a major now. I was like, either I'm dropping out of college or I'm dropping a major. So then I took hella credits, finished college. Can't lie, I did pay some people to do some homework at the end because I was like, I'm a rapper now, gotta do it in the least douchey way possible. But yes, that's how I finished college. And 10 days later, I couldn't make the graduation ceremony because I had a show in Brooklyn.
Hell yeah. Just giving out advice on how to graduate and also become a rapper at the same time.
Yeah, so I mean, hey, if you are motivated to do something and you really care about it, you can, I don't know, I felt like I never got tired out because I would go to class every day. I would do all the college shit, and then it was like rap time. Then I would spend all the rest of my waking hours doing rap shit because I really, really cared about it. So I'm not saying pay people to do your homework because that was just, at the very end, that was just like mandatory. I had to. I don't know, find something that you're passionate enough about to put all your waking time into it.
Hell yeah. So speaking of being really good at selling things, your single Betty is it's your first Billboard Hot 100 hit.
First Billboard Hot 100 hit.
Hell yeah.
Indeed.
How did that feel?
It jumped 20 spots the other day.
20 spots.
It was at 65, and then I woke up yesterday, it was 45.
Casual.
Yeah, casual. No, it was tight. It's cool. It's tight. You know, I always felt like an underground artist, you know. I you know, SoundCloud rapper. My music is like usually pretty dirty. It's not super radio friendly. It's not like mainstream sound. You know, I've had a very successful career, but I never expected to be on the radio and have like that level of hit. So it's pretty cool to see it. And I didn't realize how many doors it would open. You know, I've been doing like tons of interviews lately and meeting people and all this. I don't know. It's cool to think that like something that I created that is really purely me. Like it's very gravy. It's my style, like to a T, is actually going mainstream. So it's cool.
Speaking of Betty, we know that it samples Rick Astley. Would you ever collaborate with him on a song in the future?
Love that. I would love to have him on a remix or just do something completely new. I think he's a legend. The original song, I mean, I love that song. I listen to it all the time. I mean, it took me, like, the only reason that I hadn't sampled it earlier in my, like, you know, past 5 years of being a rapper was because I figured we wouldn't be able to clear the sample. But it worked out. I think he's on tour right now. That's what I was told. And when he gets back, supposedly we're going to speak, so you never know.
Oh, so you haven't spoken yet?
We haven't spoken, like, face-to-face.
Okay.
So you never know.
So has he given you any feedback
A
on
remix
the
is
track?
not out of the picture. All I heard was a thumbs up. That's all I heard was like, yo, he doesn't dislike it.
All
you know?
you heard was a thumbs up.
Yeah.
That's a good sign.
It's a good sign.
Looking forward to the remix.
Could be worse.
Question mark. Yeah.
A lot. I sample a lot, and a lot of people don't like me. I mean, at least the estates or the artists that created songs way back.
Yeah.
A lot of my samples are so old where it's like the people that created it are like, you know, oh, this new wave of hip hop is like, you know, I don't want you to like destroy my art that I made. You know, some of them are super down.
Yeah.
So, you know, it's usually hit or miss. But
Well, it's good to take something and make it new again, which people clearly are resonating with. You have around 6 million followers on TikTok and counting. I'm curious, though, when you're that popular online, I'm sure there's a lot of pros. but I'm sure there's also a lot of cons to that. Is there a downside to being that popular and having that type of following on social media?
Um, going to the airport is a little stressful, or just walking anywhere in public is a little not stressful. It's just like it just takes time. So I really like meeting fans, and a lot of them are down to earth. Some places, like I don't know, some people are not, but I'd say overall, like they're not really annoying. They come, they get their picture or whatever. Overall, there's not a lot of downsides. I mean, there's like obviously there was what's his name, Monty, Addison Rae's dad wanted to fight me, and that shit was just fucking entertaining. I feel really bad for his daughter because he was really embarrassing, but seeing little things like that is enjoyable for me because I'm not really doing shit. I could pick up my phone and film a 20-second video and post it, and then I got like someone's dad putting hours and hours into their day trying to like create some beef that I don't have time for. So I don't. It's funny to look at,
Yeah.
I get a giggle out of that.
So you've got some space from it.
Yeah. So I get recognized a lot, and that's cool. I don't mind it, unless I'm like at dinner with my mom or something or on a date and people are interrupting me. Overall, it's all good.
It's all good. So speaking of things being all good, things being gravy, as you mentioned earlier, Gasanova dropped in 2020, and now I believe you might have a new record coming around September-ish?
September, October, something like that.
All right.
I think there's like a few little legal things that still have to get cleared, but basically, yeah, within the next 2 months. I got a new album dropping. It's finished. It is my favorite project yet. I had a lot more to do with the production and everything than I ever had before on a project. It slaps. I mean, Betty's the single off of it. And I guess it's a pretty good indicator for what the rest of the album sounds like. It's gravy.
Yeah.
It slaps. I got a couple features, but not too much.
So you have a couple features.
Couple features, but it's mostly pure gravy. And I don't know. I'm really fucking hyped for it. I think people are gonna love it.
Favorite project, slaps, couple features. Anything else you can tell us? Any samples that you got cleared?
Let me think about it. Honestly, a lot of it is pretty original. Like my friends and I like making the music ourselves. We got a song. It's basically like a Beethoven slapper. We got like a doo-wop type sample, a Beethoven. We got a couple like sort of more pop, like singy but like good vibe songs. Punk rock joint on there. That's the next single. It's called C'est la vie. It's lit.
Did you say a Beethoven slapper?
A Beethoven slapper.
I'm totally using that in my next article.
Yeah,
it's a perfect way to describe a song.
It's organ like moody. We're shooting a video next week. That song is gonna go crazy.
It sounds like something to look forward to. So earlier this year, you went on tour with Limp Bizkit on their Still Sucks tour. I used to be such a Limp Bizkit fan. I have to know, how was it to go on tour with Limp Bizkit?
Dude, it was sick. So the band is really cool. Fred Durst, such a nice guy. The whole band, I mean, down to earth. And I was only on 7 shows. There was only 7 because it was overlapping with my tour. But it was wild because they're legendary. Like I had idolized them since I was young. And it was really cool to go out there because their fans are a lot older, right? Their fans are like mid-30s. And every day when I would go up on stage as one of the openers, immediately it's like, oh, who the fuck is this kid? They're all looking at me like, oh, who is this guy? And they're like, it's silent, no one's hyped. And then like I love that challenge. I was like, I have to get them like into it, And it was so rewarding every night to be able to have a 20-minute set and within 10 minutes have them fucking hyped. And then by the end of it, like we're, like every night they were so lit by the end of it. I was selling like a shitload of my own merch at their show. Like they wanted me to sell my merch. It wasn't like I was, but it was wild. It was like, dude, these Limp Bizkit fans are converting. There was a few times where there would be like parents that were there for Limp Bizkit and then the kids were there for me, and that was like a cool little generational thing to see. But that was awesome. I toured with Suicide Boys too. I did a couple of shows opening for them, and that was same thing. I was afraid that maybe the fans wouldn't fuck with me, but they did. So
oh yeah,
those were dope.
So when you're on tour with these artists like Suicide Boys, with Fred Durst and Limp Bizkit. Do they give you any advice on handling fame or any anecdotes from the road that they've shared with you to kind of pass onward from their experience?
I guess, Fred Durst, I mean, he was just like, man, don't like, I think any artist gets the same sort of memo from a mentor, but like, don't get too into drugs. That's what everyone's, and that's what I'd say to anyone else. Like, I've had phases before where I was too into drugs or drinking and things like that. So that's, that's the gist. I think Suicide Boys feel the same way. When you start touring that much, it's just like learning how to balance that and make it part of your normal life, where like for a while it was like, oh, I'm going to live my normal life and then I'm going to go on tour. And like, that's like a phase, but now it's like, if you're touring that much, which now I am, like I think close to 100 shows this year, where it's like, if like a 30-year life is doing shows, you got to make it part of your normal routine. So,
yeah.
So, just learning how to live like that.
Great advice. So speaking of touring, you had 2 shows in the UK in June. How did it go?
3.
3.
Birmingham,
nice.
London, and Manchester.
Sweet.
It was great. We had a really good time in the UK because, let me think. I think we did Birmingham first, spent 2 days there, and then we had like 3 off days in London, and we were staying in Camden Town, and we had such a good time. I was like, I'm tight with 21 Pilots, and they had a show out there, so I went to their show. That was awesome. They came to mine. I went out to the studio with Bad Boy Chiller Crew. If there's a lot of British folks watching this, like, we were wild, and me and BBCC.
BBCC has a lot of fans here.
Yeah. Okay. Good. Yeah. We had a good time. Worked on some music. Just did some real roadman activity. Is roadman like pretty negative, or because I remember they were referring to themselves as roadmen, but I wasn't sure if that's like.
See, like I don't. What's you got
a roadman? I think it just kind of means like you're like kind of sketchy, but I'm not really sure. I took it as like, oh, this is tight. Like I want to be a roadman, but I don't know. If that's offensive, I apologize, but
we'll find out in the comments.
Yeah. Okay. All right. We were calling ourselves roadmen. Anyways. The shows were sick. The UK is always awesome. London is one of my favorite cities to perform in. Manchester goes crazy too. We finished up in Dublin, which was lit as well. But man, I think London was the highlight of that whole tour.
Do you think you'll be back soon?
Oh yeah. I actually really wanted to do. I'll just be straight up. I was gonna like do a little surprise set with Baby No Money at Leeds. Basically, I was gonna come out and perform at Leeds with Baby No Money, but I figured out that I had a festival in Ohio at the exact same time that I couldn't cancel. So I wish, but I'll be back again soon.
You'll be back.
Very
Next
soon.
time, no scheduling conflicts. Just
no scheduling conflicts.
Straight to London.
Even if it's not a show, I just want to come back, man. I miss the UK.
You should.
So much.
So speaking of your global audience on TikTok as well as in the UK, you recently posted a video thanking everyone for introducing you to their moms. Thanks to a very popular trend of people sending their moms photos of you and then posting the responses. So I have to know, Young Gravy, what do you think it is that resonates between you and the moms out there?
I don't know. I think that they, all the moms, they deserve that attention, and for some reason, some moms just don't believe that they deserve that attention. They don't realize, like they think that once they become a mom, they're not fine as fuck anymore. But no, it's like you're still slaying, baby. Like, come on. So I think myself, shout out to Zach Wilson, some of the other MILF enthusiasts out there. It's like we support y'all. Y'all are equal, if not better than a lot of the women that are, that haven't, got through childbirth yet. You guys are slaying shit. You have experience. We got the most love for MILFs.
Nice.
And people seem to sleep on that. And I think that I genuinely believe that I have brought a good amount of, awareness to the MILF movement. And I'm proud of myself for that.
MILF enthusiast.
Yep.
Wow.
I make MILF maneuvers.
MILF maneuvers.
Mm-hmm.
Love to hear it. So speaking of your interests outside of music, you hinted at going into comedy and maybe Comedy Central reaching out to you. Can you share any of those details with us? What that might look like, what that might mean?
I've done sketches a few times in the past, like just sketch comedy with friends. Yeah, I'm pretty tight with like Simon Rex and Trevor Wallace, the Nelk Boys. I've done some sketch stuff with them, and I've actually gotten a lot of offers to do acting in different little spaces, but I wasn't super comfortable with it at first. But yeah, Comedy Central and I've been talking about doing something, you know, sort of like sketch comedy where I'm still myself, and I think I'm gonna start there and then see where that goes. You know, I think acting might become a bigger part of my my schedule if I you know, if I like it. But yeah, starting with sketch comedy shit. I think that's kind of, you know, bread and butter for me.
We'll look forward to seeing that. But before we go, is there anything else you want to tell your fans all over the world? Anything you want to leave them with? I know they've got new music to look forward to, maybe some comedy, obviously some more shows. What else do you want to let them know?
So like we spoke about, album in the next 2 months. It's going to be marvelous. It's a beautiful, beautiful project. I have a tour. If you're listening from the U.S. or Canada, I have a big tour with Baby No Money coming November, December. And if you're in Australia, for some reason listening to this, I'll probably be there January, February. And then the UK, you're up next. So touring, coming soon. Any socials, just Young Gravy. Search me, I'm sure you'll probably find me. You know what I look like now, so.
Everyone in the world has something to look forward to. Thank you so much for taking the time to hang out with us.
Absolutely. I appreciate y'all having me.
We'll talk to you soon. Cheers.
Hell yeah. Cheers. Salud.